even know is there, like, and there's no walls. It'd be pretty difficult to escape that.
Looks like we got us another hit. Yep.
So let's look at this. Am I sharing? Yes. It says Sanders unveils bill to force Pentagon to pass an audit or return part of its budget. The Pentagon and the military industrial complex have been plagued by a massive amount of waste, fraud, and financial management for decades. That is absolutely unacceptable. It says a bipartisan group of lawmakers led by Senator Bernie Sanders introduced legislation Wednesday that would require the Pentagon to return a portion of its enormous and ever-growing budget to the Treasury Department if it fails another audit in the coming fiscal year. The Audit the Pentagon Act, an undated version of legislation first introduced in 2021, comes amid mounting concerns over rampant price gouging by military contractors and other forms of waste and abuse at an agency that's set to receive at least $842 billion for fiscal year 2024. The Pentagon and the military industrial complex have been plagued by massive waste, fraud, and financial mismanagement for decades. This is absolutely unacceptable, Sanders, Independent Vermont, said in a statement as he unveiled the bill alongside Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican Iowa. If we're serious about spending taxpayer dollars wisely and effectively, said Sanders, we have got to end the absurdity of the Pentagon being the only agency in the federal government that has never passed an independent audit. In December, the Pentagon flunked its fifth consecutive audit, unable to account for more than 60% of its $3.5 trillion in total assets. But congressional appropriations appear largely unfazed as they prepare to raise the agency's budget to record levels, with some working to increase it beyond the top line set by the recently approved debt ceiling agreement. Watchdogs have warned that the deal includes a loophole that hawkish lawmakers could use to further inflate the Pentagon budget under the guise of aiding Ukraine. Late Wednesday, following a lengthy markup session, the House Armed Service Committee passed its version of the National Defense Authorization Act and proposed a total military budget of $886 billion. Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat California, was the only committee member to vote no. A huge chunk of the Pentagon's budget for next year is likely to go to profitable private contractors, which make a killing charging the federal government exorbitant sums for weapons and miscellaneous items, from toilet seats to ashtrays to coffee makers. This is super interesting to me. Like, I've been screaming for the longest. Like, we had this whole thing with the debt ceiling and all the arguments, and then they're always talking about spending, and they're like spending. We got to get the spending under control. They're like, we spent a bunch of money during the pandemic and all of this, tax cuts. We did tax cuts. We did spending. And they're like, we need to dig into these social programs, veterans benefits, SNAP, food assistance programs, and get the spending under control so that we can be more fiscally responsible and be responsible related to the debt. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But if you really want to focus on the spending and get the spending under control, then look at the areas where you're spending the most, the biggest pieces of the pie, and make cuts there. Well, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is the spending related to the military. Okay, so you got Bernie Sanders introducing this bill. It's clearly bipartisan because they said it was a Republican on there who's backing it also. And so they're saying, hey, these guys haven't passed an audit. The last 4 or 5 audits, they haven't passed them. They've lost money. They recently in the news, there's been stuff about, them overinflating the amount of money related to what they were giving to Ukraine, so forth and so on. And then Weapons are getting lost. Money is getting lost as far as the amount that they're paying for things is more than what it should be, and all of this stuff. So that's been in the news. So then that's a perfect timing for this bill to come out, because people are kind of, aware of it because they've been talking about it. So, like I said, if you really care about the spending, then you need to look at this. These guys won't pass an audit, so they're coming out with this bill. They're saying, okay, well, if next time we do an audit, if they don't pass it, then they need to give some money back. What did it say? They have to give some of the money back and other things, and cut their budget. And I think that's fair. It's only fair. Everybody has to pass audits. They do audits all the time. Everyone gets audited. So you mean to tell me that the American taxpayer people get audited by the IRS and they have to pay all this money back or whatever? They did fraud, or maybe they just didn't misfile their taxes or something. They overinflated things or whatever. And they hired all of these new IRS agents to go out and freaking find the missing money, if you will. So, the American taxpayer, the regular folks, we can't be off a couple grand on taxes, or they're going to come down hard on us. And then you got the damn military industrial complex can be missing trillions of dollars and have no repercussions, So then a lot of people are going to be like, it's kind of like the back the blue people who don't want to say anything bad about the military or whatever. Like, I don't care what side you are. Like, if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, wherever you are, if you're a patriot or you're just a regular taxpaying person, all of y'all should care about this. It's coming out of your pocket. So you're okay with these people just like losing money, not being able to pass an audit, you're okay with that? Like, you're just going to back them up on it because it's like, okay, well, they're fighting for our freedom. And that's what people are going to say. They're fighting for our freedom. So, give them as much money as they want. Raise their budget. Give them more money so they can keep us safe. Well, okay, so they're going out there keeping you safe, but we don't know where they're spending the money on. They keep losing money. They can't track their money. So can't they keep the American people safe and keep track of their money at the same time? Like, this is a lot of money. It's coming out of the pockets of you and me. But you're okay with that? I think it's crazy. It's crazy talk to not have a problem with that. Like, I don't care where you are on this topic. You should not be happy about them losing trillions of dollars. So you're going to be mad at people getting food stamps that they're not supposed to, but not mad at these people losing $1 trillion. You're going to be mad at people getting their student loans forgiven, but not be mad at these people losing $1 trillion. You're going to be mad at veterans getting benefits. You're going to be mad at, I don't know, some other kind of social program, freaking free lunch and all of this. You're going to focus on that and be mad about that, but you're not going to be mad about this is trillions of dollars over here. Okay? Now, that's where our priorities need to be. Our priorities need to be in order. So if you're going to chase these pennies over here, or are you going to chase these billions over here? Like, this person over here needs to be audited and cuts need to be made. How many cuts can you make to, like, they're talking about going after Social Security now. You know what I mean? How many cuts can you make to these social programs? And how much money is you actually saving? How much money are you actually saving cutting those social programs? How much money would you actually be saving if you forced the military industrial complex to pass an audit and not be giving out money to their buddies, these independent contractors? Big fat cats. It's always been this way, though. This is not a new thing. So, I mean, I'm probably just wasting my breath, because who's to say? Like, will this actually, did they say it passed? No. So, who's to say that this even passes? Like, it probably won't. Because there's a theme with our country related to black ops and, So who's funding those black ops? Where's the money coming for that stuff? All these secret behind the scenes type of things. Like whenever they talk about like $1 trillion being missing, then that money could be going for that. All of this stuff that's off the books. These operations that are not on the books. And then somebody could whisper something in someone's ear and be like, hey, you don't know what you're doing. You're fucking up. This is how we keep y'all safe. We can't tell y'all about how we spend all the money, because if we did, then that would put service members in danger or whatever, whatever. So like I said, it's probably a pointless, but that's one thing I like about Bernie, is because he be trying to do stuff that's like impossible. And this is one of those mission impossibles right here. Let me read some comments. This one says, military industrial complex needs an audit, its budget cut half, and the gradual reduction. A congressional hearing is due where military and corporation executives need to answer to misconduct, mismanagement, and corruption. Hence, prosecutions and jail time is recommended for crimes against the American people. Shame. I completely agree with that. Hold on 1 second. I want to post that in the comments. All right. Another comment that says, yes, please. Another comment that says, in December, the Pentagon flunked the 5th consecutive audit, unable to account for more than 60% of its $3.5 trillion in total assets. So, and then it's got a link to a article. So 60% of 3.5 trillion. I mean, my math is not that good, but that's more than half. So I'm going to say like 1.5, almost 2 trillion. So almost $2 trillion of its budget. 60%, more than half, it couldn't account for. More than half. Is that how much Black Ops is going on? Now, I think that some of it is probably that, and some of it may be going towards things, I mean, hypothetically, quote unquote, going to things that's protecting the American people. But 60%, that's a lot. So that's more than half of the budget is going to Black Ops to protect the people. That's hard for me to believe. That's very hard for me to believe. It's more likely that these are fat cat, independent contractor, good old my buddy contracts that you're giving to people to probably do nothing, overcharging, because the money is coming out of nowhere. It's just like getting printed. So it's just like a freaking free for all for people to get rich. You hook up your buddy. And one hand washes the other. You look out for me and I look out for you type of thing, because a lot of times I be talking about these government jobs. A lot of them don't pay very well, as far as like, I'm talking about like if you're working within like political positions, politics. Even the president doesn't get paid that much. It's like 600,000 or whatever. Like that might sound like a lot, but to be the president of the United States, that's like the amount of money that his pen can deal with is huge. So, and then he's only getting paid 600,000. So, but that's at the high end. And when you go down to the lower offices, the money gets small. So, and I was looking at that one time because I was looking at local positions in politics and looking at how much they get paid. And a lot of these people have to have a second job because otherwise they wouldn't be able to pay their bills and live comfortably. So, but then there goes an opportunity for conflict of interest, because when you're in a position of authority in the politics, you're a political figure and you make decisions that can hurt or help certain businesses, then and at the same time you're not making that much money in that position, then what is your incentive to work that job? What is your incentive to work that job if you're not even making that much money and you have to work a side job to make enough money to pay your bills? So that incentivizes in corruption is what it does for you to do side hustles, that makes you make money out of your position. You know, you be like, hey, I can make this legislation come down and hurt your business really bad, or you could chuck me a couple of dollars or give me a couple favors or whatever, and I won't do it. You know, and I won't have that'll be my side hustle. Y'all get it? And that's just on a small level. You go all the way up, and things get super heavy, related to money laundering, related to the cartel, related to drugs, legal drugs and illegal drugs, human trafficking, even like going in other countries and taking their gold, natural resources. What is their incentive to have these jobs in politics? Why do they want to do it? It's because they really care. Is that why they're doing it? Let me read this comment. It says, call it the great refund from piss poor quality and waste of taxpayer money. Meanwhile, I'm barely scraping by and they get a slap on the wrist for losing trillions. Let us lose a couple thousand. You know what I'm saying? Let our freaking audit, let the IRS audit us. And they find that we mismanaged some amount of money. We go to jail. We have to pay money back. We get in trouble. These guys can just freaking lose money and nothing happens. Another comment says, give him hell, Bernie, damn. I guess he really isn't a real Democrat. Well, he's an independent. He ran as a Democrat because that would have been his best way to get into office back when he ran for president, but he's always been an independent. Let me read this one. It says, the IRS will stalk and destroy poor people for a couple $100s, but these folks lose trillions and nothing but crickets. That's exactly what I just said. It says, this one says, oh, hell yeah, this better pass. I doubt it. I really do doubt it. Let me read another one. It says, in December, the Pentagon flunked a 5th consecutive audit. Oh, I already read that. Anyways, it would be nice, but I don't see it. I really don't. That's why I am the way that I am. I don't have much faith in it. I used to get all into politics and stuff and be all like voting and like feeling like my vote makes a difference and all of this stuff. And the more that I've learned about politics, the more I realize that it's not set up for average folks, like regular folks, to really have an impact on it. You think they really want you to have some say in what the hell they're doing? Like it annoys you. It's kind of like if you tell a police officer, hey, I pay your salary. That ain't going to do nothing but piss him off. That's like the worst thing to say to a police officer. And it's like that with our politicians. It's the same way, they're not going to say anything like, but they're burning up on the inside because it's like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know how this thing works. This system don't care about you as an individual, your little old vote or your little old couple of dollars that comes out of your taxes. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So, the system rolls on and things go the way that they go. It's like, people who have, of course, people who have more influence or people that have more money, people that have certain kinds of statuses, people that are in government, and a lot of it is like I say, my buddy, friends and family. And it's a big charade. These people all go to school. Their kids go to school, go to the same schools. They hang out with each other when they're in the legislative session and they're all arguing on some shit. After that, they go to the bar and have a drink together. while we out here about to stab each other and gouge each other's eyes out. Anyways, call me crazy. Call me some reason.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?